welcome.
Now you missed it. Now you got me in trouble.
You get one. Everybody has a worksheet? Yes, no, maybe? Does everybody have a pen or a pencil? Heather? Does everybody have a pen or a pencil? Ask Veronica if she can give you some of those papers. We'll get you a pen. We'll get you a pen, but for time's sake, we're going to go ahead and get started, okay? Now, we are a big group. The one thing we cannot do is all have side conversations while someone else is talking. Okay, because to you, you're whispering, but if there's 3 or 4 different side conversations going on, that's a lot of rumble and mumble and noise, okay? We already have to compete with whatever's going on in the hallway. We don't need to compete with you all as well. Cool? I have one more request. You're only going to be in here for about 45 minutes. If your boo thing can't leave you alone with your phone for 45 minutes, get you another boo. Okay? So please, ma'am, please, sir, if you would disengage yourself from your mobile device, I would greatly appreciate that, okay? Alright, so, I know some of you are like, who is this crazy lady? Those of you that already know me, raise your hand. You put your hand down. 10. You sure to God did. Yes, you did. So those of you that already know me, am I pretty much crazy all the time? Yes. Here you go, bye. This is me pretty much every day, all day, except for if I'm ticked off. Those ladies can attest to that. But I am the Student Engagement Coordinator for Shelton State. I'm also the International Student Advisor and PDSO, meaning if they're international students, they come through my office. And I'm also an adjunct instructor. I teach orientation to college and basic studies. So chances are, if you're on this campus at some point in time, we're going to run into each other. If you did not get a pen, if you would slightly slip your hand up, and Ms. JD will give you one. I've invited some other guests to share with you on today, and that's the SOAR Institute and Pride. I just got a message from Pride. Somebody's daughter is sick that was supposed to be representing them. So I'll touch a little bit about what they do, and then we'll move forward. Today's session is really laid back. We normally do a student survival kit. We'll talk to you about a couple of things in that kit that you should be considering now that you're in college. We'll talk about our support services here at Shelton State. We'll talk about campus student engagement. And then it's just a talk-back session Q&A, which I have not given you that sheet of paper yet, but it's going to be another sheet of paper. So that's why it's important that you have a pen or pencil, because I need your honest feedback, okay? And then we have the session evaluation, which is on the back side of that white sheet that I gave you. On that white sheet that says our agenda and session evaluation, you see a space for your name and your student number. That's not so I can keep track of your comments, but I will be drawing for book awards. And I put an S on it because I didn't have anybody claim the treasure this week. So I will draw for 2. I will do that after the session so I could check with your coaches in the event that I can draw your name to see if you're on scholarship or what the case may be. So it sometimes can be a lengthy process, and I'm not going to hold you up with that today. But I will contact you via your My Shelton email if you are the recipient, okay? So is everybody checking their email? Ooh, I need you to check your email. You're going to miss something. Okay. So what's in your survival kit? What we typically talk about is time management, study tips, note-taking, communication with faculty and staff, understanding instructional technology, etc. The not-so-obvious things that we typically do not talk about is the utilization of campus resources, understanding yourself as a student, who you are, and getting involved on campus. For today's purposes, I'm going to choke one of y'all. Oh, shut up. All right. For today's purposes, you're going to just play right. We're going to talk about the not-so-obvious stuff. By now, you are a young adult. You should know the basic things about time management. You should know some basic things about studying. And I'm quite sure for those that are athletes, your coaches and your advisors are going to make sure you do what's necessary to pass your classes. Because if you don't pass, what happens?
You fail.
You fail, but what else? I just said you don't pass, so you don't pass is obvious. You don't pass, what happens?
You don't go to another school.
No pass, no play.
You don't play.
And I will tell you, one person I know that will yank you off the court, that's Joe Eaton. He does not play. So they're going to make sure you do the things necessary to make sure that you have the support you need and get the education you need. So, okay, our on-campus student support services. All of you should know where these places are, right? Is there one up there that you have no clue as to where it is or what it does? Library. Down the highway. On this campus, we have libraries on both campuses. The Fred campus. Who did not know we had another campus? Let's start there. Okay. We do. We have two campuses. Our Fred campus is on the west side of Tuscaloosa, on MLK Boulevard. You'll find a lot of our technical courses there, like automotive, respiratory care, those types of things, and adult education are on that campus. We do have some basic classes that are over there, so that's why it's important when you are, if you're making your own schedule, that you're paying attention to the M, the F, and the D that show up on your schedule. Because if you have something that says F80, that's Fred campus. And if you get out of class here at 11 o'clock and you have a 11:15 class at Fred, chances are you're not going to make it. Because there's a train that runs between here and Fred. And chances are you're going to get stuck. Because it likes to stop on the track, back up, and then just stay up. That happens. Am I not telling you? Okay, I thought I had a witness. All right. Any other service up here that you are not familiar with? Tell the truth. It's okay. Nobody's going to judge you. If they do, they got to deal with me. I'm short, but baby, I'm powerful. Okay. Enrollment services. That's where you probably dealt with to go get your admissions paperwork done and financial aid. Testing and assessment. If you did not report like ACT scores, you took out after placement test. That's what that is. Educational planning, you all have an advisor. They're now called educational planners. The libraries we've talked about, Office of Disability Services. I'll talk more about them, but they're located on the first floor. What did you say? First floor, basically kind of underneath where we are. International Student Services, that's my office, one component of it. Career Service Center, that is Miss Amy Henderson. Wave your hand, Miss Amy. She's right across the hallway. You walk out of this door, you're going to walk slap down into where she is. Veterans Information Center, that's where our veterans is also in the student services area. SOAR Institute, where's the SOAR Institute? Bingo, we're in it. Boy, has somebody said somewhere else I didn't work. And the Learning Center is also on the Fred campus. And it's kind of equivalent to SOAR in ways because they offer tutoring at the Learning Center. Not as much as we offer here at SOAR, but they still have that service. So Office of Disability Services. They offer physical and academic accommodations for various disabilities. They do require that you provide documentation. You can't just walk in and say, I have ADHD. Okay, truth be told, I think all of us got a little touch of it because I can't pay attention for long enough to nothing anyway, myself. But I've never been diagnosed with it. So I can't walk in and just say, hey, I have ADHD or I have this disability. I have to have the paperwork that backs it up. That covers you as a student to make sure we're giving you the proper accommodations. And it also covers the school to make sure that we are actually providing a service that is actually needed to a student and no one's taking advantage of the system. Some examples are extended times on tests. You can have a reduced distraction testing area. And then we have books in alternate formats. For example, if there's a student who is blind and needs a textbook that is in Braille, we can accommodate that. I told you where they're located. Those are their hours. And the person that is responsible for that area is Michelle Minor. Feel free to drive by and see her. The things you discuss with her remain completely and confidentially with her unless it has to do with your academic performance, in which they do share that information with instructors if asked so that we can better assist you in class. Scholarships. I know some of you are on scholarships, some of you are not. It does not hurt to apply for other things, especially for students who are not athletes. I want you all to be aware that our scholarships will open online in January and they will close in March. And that will be for the upcoming fall, spring, and summer semesters. Applications can only be submitted online, so don't go to Miss JB and ask her to print your application out. This is not going to happen, okay? And then we also have external scholarships on the website. External scholarships are those scholarships that may come from different sources, like Coca-Cola, Buffalo Rock, what is it, J.E. Cook, J.M. Cook? Yeah, those types of scholarships that come from sources outside of Shelton State. Campus safety, who's all taking orientation college? Are you taking it now, maybe?
Not taking it.
Okay, if you haven't taken it, or you will be, or you're currently in it, you will probably see this guy called, we call him Tommy, but his name is Dean Taylor, and he's our Dean over Auxiliary Services. He's over all campus safety and security, and he's going to give you a whole talk about our campus safety initiatives. The main things for you to remember is that there's an emergency, dial 911. Don't wait to try to come find somebody. You know, if you see somebody that passes out in the atrium and there's somebody nearby, sure tell them. But it's okay for you to go ahead and dial 911. These are our security office numbers for Martin and Fred, and they do have security on both campuses. There are emergency phone boxes that are located throughout both campuses, and they are in place to connect students with security. So you may have seen these random phone boxes, and you're like, what is that little blue light? That's what that is for. Then also for weather emergencies, make sure that you signed up for Campus Cast. This is what will tell you if we're having a delayed opening or if we're not opening at all. If there's a utility issue at the school and you shouldn't come to school that day, you will probably get a notification mid-October for WOW, just to remind you that we're not having class, or that if you have a 5 o'clock class, you are still expected to be in class. This is your constant link to what's going on campus regarding our openings, closings, and delays. Communication and apps. Who knows what sources of different apps that we use at Shelton State? Who can name a couple?
Canvas.
We have Canvas app. What else?
Shelton State out.
We have the Shelton State app. Are we on any social media?
Instagram, Twitter.
Twitter, Facebook, what do you say?
Instagram.
I think we're on LinkedIn as well. There was something called Flickr. I never did get involved with that. But we do have those apps available. We only communicate with you via your email. So if you have not been checking your email, it's going to be important that you start checking your email. And due to security and privacy reasons, our personnel is only going to respond to you through your My Shelton email account. And we have a script that if a student sends us something, we email them back this script. Please respond to us from your My Shelton email. They're not being rude. That's just what we have been mandated to do. So make sure you're checking your email regularly. Now, when you're communicating with us as faculty and staff from your email address, these are a couple of do's and don'ts. Just basic stuff. Because what has happened, you all tend to email us the same way you text your buddy. There's no greeting. You just go right in. Like, we had class today. What my grades in? That's the last one I got. What's what my grades in? If you come to class, you'll get a grade. You know, we'll start with that. So you first use your college email account. It's okay to say good morning, hello, how are you, dear Ms. Reed, hey JB, or whatever. Don't write in all uppercase. Why?
Because you're yelling at that person.
It comes across like you're yelling. The same thing about overutilization of punctuation. You only need one exclamation point. And then what you're using the exclamation point for anyway, what you mad about? Just keep it simple, get concise, straight to the point. Don't write the way you text. The word to is either T-O or T-W-O, not the number 2. You is the actual word, Y-O-U, not just you. Okay, spell it out. And then proofread your email. Spell check will save your life. Okay? Because you want to sound as an educated student, not just somebody who is here who does not know how to properly communicate, okay? Have the student e-newsletter. We talked about our social media. We do have YouTube. This seminar, as you can see, is being recorded. So if for any purposes you need to go back and look at something or need to prove to somebody that you were here, it is being recorded. All right? Now I have our SOAR Institute representative, Dr. Anika Loader. She's going to tell you a little bit about SOAR and the tutoring services and so on that they offer here, and then we're going to jump right back into it, okay?
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. Most of y'all know me already. I see y'all every Tuesday and Thursday. I'm Dr. Anika Loader, and I manage the math lab, which is 2455. And I'm just here to talk to you about the SOAR Institute in general and what we offer. And when I'm passing out our brochures, just going into more detail about the SOAR Institute. And And we're here for students as a learning resource center. We have tutoring that's available Monday through Thursday from 8 to 6, and on Fridays, math lab only from 8 through 12. In the lab here, the main lab, the Source Institute, we have 31 computers for use for anything. If you need to type paper, if you need to print out an article for class, or you need to watch a video for class, you may do that in the Source Institute. If you don't watch a video, make sure you have headphones, phones, or earbuds. Also, back here we have the writing lab, where English classes go and write their papers during their class time, and that way the teacher's there to critique the paper. As for tutoring, we offer many subjects. We have a writing component where if you have a class where you have to write anything, English, history, art, any class that you need a paper written, is there to proofread it. In the math lab, we assist with all students in math courses up into Cal 3 now. So we go all the way to Calculus 3. And if you're like in a nursing program or you're taking chemistry and you need to do some conversion, we'll be there to help you as well. Like I said, I'm Dr. Loder. I manage the math lab for Ms. Veronica Cross. She manages SOAR. If you have any questions, our information is on the back. And in SOAR, we also have some educational planners. Their offices are here. So if you have any questions, feel free to come and ask us, okay?
She told me 3 minutes.
I gave her time.
She gave you time.
All right, so the next component I was telling you about is understanding who you are. And this means, as a student, who you are. And that includes understanding where you are and where you are not. How many of you are first-time students? Whether it's first-time freshman or whatever, you're a first-time student. This is your first time being in college. It's okay, it's good. Cool. Wow. So you have to understand that there are differences between high school and college. There are also going to be differences between the institution if you transfer here from somewhere else. There are going to be differences in how we operate versus how your other institution operates. But the main thing is, in high school, you had 7 hours in class per day. When you got to school, you were basically there all day for 7 hours. In college, you may have about 4, depending on your schedule. Tests per course, you normally had 6 to 9 tests, and there was usually a test after every chapter. You read chapter 1, do the little worksheets, little study guide. Y'all, it hasn't changed that much since I was in school. Don't look at me like that. I'm not that old, okay? And you have a test on it. In college, you may have 2 to 4 chapters before you have a single test. And the next thing you'll be looking at is like a midterm or final exam. In high school, it was more toward you getting the answers right. You could memorize with the best of them in high school. In college, we want you to be able to think through the material and get the answers correctly and be able to apply them to what you're learning. In high school, 80% of the responsibility of teaching and learning was on the teacher, versus here in college, that's now on you. You'll get the instruction and then you're giving the information to go home and do the studying and do the reading and whatever else it takes for you to understand that knowledge. Also, understanding yourself is about time management. Who thinks they have great time management skills? Okay. Who thinks they have okay time management skills? Who thinks their time management skills are, I'm not going to say wrong, but they need improvement? I'm wrong, to tell the truth. And how many of you have no time management skills whatsoever? Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Even as a student and even as an adult, sometimes the hardest thing for us to do is to adjust to being able to balance our skills. Okay? And that has been the greatest challenge based on research that most college students face, is being able to adjust to the freedom. In high school or back home, you had mom, you had dad, you had someone kind of telling you what to do, you had teachers kind of telling you what to do, and in college you don't. No one wakes you up. If they do, you're blessed. Other than, your cell phone, you're responsible for getting to where you need to be and when you need to be there. So time management tips, I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on time management, is learning how to effectively schedule. That means you need to see your educational planner often. Even if it's just to drop by to say, hey, how you doing? Let them know you're still on the face of the earth. Let them know that you're still coming to school, okay? goal setting, it's not too early for you to start setting goals for yourself. What do you want to accomplish this semester? Somebody tell me.
Pass all classes.
Pass all your classes. What is one something you want to accomplish this semester? What? Did you say get away from him? What did you say? Huh? Now see, that's the thing, you bold enough to say it, but not big enough to repeat. If your goal is to graduate, then do what you need to do to graduate. And by the way, I know who said it, I'm not crazy. Okay, what else? What's another goal that you might have in calculus?
Only the A in calculus.
Want to make an A in calculus? That's perfect. She has a very specific goal. So she knows that again, yes ma'am.
You gotta be consistent.
Yeah, you gotta be consistent. That's the goal. If you know that you're not a consistent person, then work on consistency. Now I'm gonna throw this out there. They say I'm a little blunt. Oh well, here we go. If you know that you're a liar, maybe your goal is to stop lying so much. Simple goal. If you know that you're not honest with yourself, then your goal is to, I'm gonna be more honest with myself. If you know that you're timid, then one of your goals could be that, sir, I will send you out here. Okay? All right. If you know that one of your goals is to come out of your shell a little bit more, then say that you're going to meet more people, or you're going to connect with somebody here on campus so that you can learn how to meet more people. And then also make sure you're motivating yourself and you're staying focused. Maybe you need to cut some of the people out that you're hanging with.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere. They don't have any goals. Maybe they're not the people you need to be around. Or if every time you have something good happen for you, they only see the negative of what happened to you. That's a key indicator of who you need to cut out. Then use a calendar. Everybody in here has a cell phone, right? They all come with a nifty calendar. Put stuff on it. It will send you an alert if you set it. So use it. So those of us that need improvement on our time management or have no time management skills at all, these are great places for you to start. Okay? Understanding yourself and how you learn. If you have not taken orientation or you said you're in orientation, you will see this. It's called the BARK assessment. You can go online and type in BARK, B-A-R-K. And each one of those letters stands for something. And it'll pull up how you can take this assessment. It's not like a 2 or 3 hour test. It's probably about 20 questions about yourself and about how you study and how you like to receive information. And from that, it will tell you whether or not you're a visual learner, someone who likes to see information. You like to see graphs and pictures and stuff that show you charts, show you the information. If you're read-write, a person who likes to read the information or write things down. If you're an oral person, as an A-U-R-L, hearing, you like to hear people talk. You do well in like lecture settings. Or if you're a kinesthetic person, someone that has to do. And you see a lot of our technical people that work with their hands, nurses and stuff, cosmetology students, they fall in kinesthetic. Because one of my examples is, I can tell you how to put in a perm all day. But until you put that perm in for the first time and you make Susan hair fall out, you don't understand the regimens of timing and what you should and should not do. Those are things you have to do in order to see how they work and do not work. Until you mess somebody's color up for the first time, you don't understand the processing of color. And then understanding your study habits, just real quick. Your peak time means when you're awake and most alert. How many morning people are in here? You love being up in the morning, you do a lot of stuff in the morning. Okay, how many evening people, like afternoon, after lunch people? How many night owls in the house? You're not really going until about 5 o'clock in the evening, and then it's on clock. Okay, those are your peak hours. If you know you're not a morning person, I'm not a morning person. Just not. If you know that you're not a morning person, then you trying to study and process information in the early morning is not going to work. Find that time of the day when you're most alert and when you're most in tune with yourself, and then use that time to study. Okay? Bonus time is whenever you have extra time or free time. Okay? I've had people say that I had a truck driver who said that he would study at weigh-in sessions, at weigh-in spots where they had to go get the truck's materials weighed in. It normally takes a little time, so he would take out his note cards and study while they were weighing his truck in. When you're sitting out in the atrium in between classes, take a minute to go over your notes. It may seem like nothing to you, but my rule of thumb is 20 minutes a day. If you will take 20 minutes a day to go over your material, when it's time for you to study, you'll easily recall that information. You won't have to spend so much time cramming for a test. The thing is to keep doing it. Math students, you gotta keep doing it. Math is not osmosis. You do the problem one time and you think you got it. Keep doing it, okay, in order to get better. And so understand yourself as a college student. This particularly goes toward our first-time students, but even some of our returning students have the same issue. In August, you're in a period of adjustment. If you're just getting here for whatever reason, or if you're kicking into practices, you're still having to adjust to that. You're insecure, you're unfamiliar with surroundings, unfamiliar with people, especially if you didn't come here with anyone that you know. And then you might be feeling a little separation from your family. Who's from out of town? Who's from out of Alabama? Where?
Florida.
Tampa, Florida. We playing.
You're not. Never mind. I'll tell y'all that later. Okay, so you may be feeling, depending on how close you are with your family, you might be feeling a little separation from your folks. Okay? So that's the time you'll feel that in August because you're away from everybody. And if you've been like the top dog in your high school, you may feel like a small fish because you're in a different place, like you're starting over on the bottom. September, you started to experiment, learn new people. You tend to get comfortable in September because you've gotten past the starter classes and you hadn't quite hit the midterm yet. So in September, you get kind of comfortable, but you begin to realize that you really aren't in high school anymore. If you're living with somebody else, get ready. This is the month that y'all have conflicts. She don't wash the dishes. He don't pick up his underwear. Towels are wet in the bathroom. Something is going to pop off in September. And this is about the time that you're feeling like, okay, the next time she do this, I'm going to have to say something. It's happening. October, we're rolling into midterms. Now you have social demands because you met a few people. Y'all want to hang out. And then money. Your money started getting funny about midterms. You blew all of it at the beginning. Yeah, you blew all of it in August and September, and now October, you like, man, my funds low. Okay? And as you will see, football is on September and October. We're in a football city. Everybody want to go to the football game. Everybody want to go tailgate. Don't get sucked into that. It's good to go, but don't make that your priority. Then November, your stress level kind of increases. You start thinking about your courses for the spring. Again, we got football coming up. And then you have the holidays. So we tend to back off because we're in the downswing. And then December, you have finals. This is a period of no sleep for most students because you're trying to play catch up on everything that you missed from August to now. All right? So this just says excuses, the words we use to fill the gap between wanting something and achieving something. Exceptions are the excuses we make to explain why other people succeed. And then excellence is what is achieved just because you kept showing up anyway. If you stop showing up in practice, even mentally, when you hit the court, you're not there, you're not going to be excellent. So you have to show up at every practice mentally. Don't just be a person on the court. Be there mentally. Bad days happen. Shake it off. In class, you have to show up mentally. Don't just be a butt in the seat. Show up. Ask questions. Expect to learn something. Our clubs and organizations, you all have some yellow sheets around. Share, show them to somebody. These are all the ways you can get involved at Shelton State. This list of student organizations is also on the website. We have different activities and events that took place. We had Connect just last week. Hope some of you went to that. We had Welcome Back Week those first couple of days of the first week of classes. And then Pride is here located in Shelton State. You will hear from them. They're our drug and alcohol abuse educational system here. And then we have Theater Tuscaloosa downstairs. They do great shows. We have some that are coming up here soon. We have homecoming. Our homecoming is a little different. We won't have homecoming this fall. Ours is in the spring. So let me go ahead and put that shock out there. But the reason we do that is because of our athletics. We don't have football, so we try to do things that celebrate the culmination of our athletics. Our cheerleaders are normally coming back. You guys are getting ready to go off. to compete in championships. Our baseball, softball, they're getting ready to kick off. So we do it in the month of February where we can celebrate all of your achievements and get you hyped up for what's going on next season. We had these community initiatives. Now, I'm so glad the athletes showed up. I get to be the one to tell y'all if you hadn't already been told. Halloween spooktacular. Right about now, there will be 350 little people running around on campus. And y'all get to help me with it. Yeah. So if you don't like children, now's the time to get over there. Because you're going to have to deal with little snot-nosed Money, your Bobby, and him in his Spider-Man costume want to go get more candy. And you have to tell him, no, we can't go do that. We're going to go play this game. And be nice and gentle and caring about it. They loved the athletes last year. That was one of the biggest compliments we got on our survey to the schools, was that they absolutely loved our athletes. Y'all were such a class act, and how great our athletes were compared to other places. So get ready, it's coming. October 31st. Put that on your calendar. No, you cannot be sick that day. Those, again, that yellow sheet tells you about our student organization. It also gives you contact information for the sponsors of those organizations if you're interested in them. It gives you a description of what they are as well. All right? So this is the top back Q&A portion. All right, good. We got a good time. Take one and pass it. If you have an extra, pass it to the next table. If you don't have anything to write with, now's the time to get it. Take one and pass it. Some of them are purple, some of them are white. Yes, I need you to do these. And there's a reason. There's a method to the madness. One, make sure you filled out the evaluation and put your student number information on it. Did everybody get those? Okay.
What's your favorite thing about Shelton? I have a help session.
Okay. So if I can have your attention real quick. Since we have a large group of you here and you all represent different areas of the college, whether it's athletes or whatever the situation may be, you all represent a different perspective from the student experience for the college, okay? So if I can get you to switch over from the survey to this other half sheet that has the questions on it, yes, I need you to do them. Yes, I would like for you to give me honest, but please give me serious answers. Nothing like, we need more Skittles in the vending machine. I can't do nothing about the Skittles in the vending machine. Okay? Okay? See, I can't do nothing about that kind of stuff. But things that really concern you, or if there's really something you want to see, no, I cannot turn the D-rooms into a closet. Okay? That's kind of stuff I have got. I can't give y'all a club, okay? We can't have a disco night party and all that. I can't do that, all right? But stuff that I could legitimately try to help implement at the college would be great. So the first thing is, I want to know what's your favorite thing about Shelton State. If your favorite thing is Chick-fil-A, write Chick-fil-A. And the second question is your least favorite thing. If your least favorite thing is Chick-fil-A, then write Chick-fil-A. But 1 and 2, tell me what your favorite thing is and then what your least favorite thing is. If you hate parking, okay. Now this is not the time for you to tell me that you hate one of your instructors. I mean, if you have a problem with the instruction or whatever, that's fine.
Do you not put Madonna on there either?
I don't want to hear you got a problem with your coach. No. This is not time for you to go in on one of your instructors. No, but please be nice, be respectful.
I mean, she's honest.
She said honest answer.
And please take time to fill it out. All right, number 3 is what is one club, as in student organization, club means student organization, that you would like to see at Shelton State. If you don't know of one, you can put NA for not applicable. I mean, if that's what you feel, put it on there. I'm not going to beat you over the head because you feel. What is one suggestion for improvement? Now that's a little bit different from what you least like. Just what do you suggest we do for improvement? If you suggest we get more lighting, if you suggest we have more activities or whatever. What is your one suggestion?
We need a cab.
You need a cab.
Some type
You
of
need
bill.
a, you need a what?
We need Shelton cash.
Oh, okay. I thought you said what kind of cab?
You know like Bama cash?
I get it. Yeah, put it on.
How do you suggest students more involved on campus? Get a cafeteria?
Everybody put a cab.
I
But I
did.
mean, put it on there.
We ain't even gonna be here.
They gonna come next semester.
Am I, what's your name, baby? Eric. You said caf as in cafeteria, right? Somebody asked me what you meant by caf. Yeah, cafeteria.
This one activity that I would like to see included during homecoming.
And then, how do you suggest we get students involved? I can't bring out candy every day. I can't buy pizza every day. I mean, I tried it all. I done fed them. I done gave you games. I don't know what else to do. And then the last one is list one activity that you would like to see included during homecoming. What did they say? Don't.
Dress so weak.
I don't know, I guess they think I'm old. I can hear very well. But I can see, but I can hear very well.
Yeah, okay, I'm more. I don't know.
All right, do you have any questions for me? I will try to answer within brief. You have any questions for me? Yes, you can take remaining snacks and drinks. Be considerate. That don't mean you take 19 of them. Hold on. Whoa, sit down.
Hey, and before they leave, if they brought a chair in here, it would really help us out if you would just take it and roll it back to where you got it.
Yeah, so please help us with that. Leave the half sheet and completed evaluation on the center of your table. All the rest of the information you can take with you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so both of these. What's one activity?